My name is Connor Fox. I'm an organizer with AFSCME, and I'm part of the team that's been working here in Wisconsin since about 2011. Before I started working with the union, I was a correctional officer in Missouri and the Wisconsin equivalent of a PCT. In the next few days, you should receive a ballot in the mail for the Security and Public Safety election. With all the attacks waged against public sector employees, especially here in Wisconsin, it's very important to make sure that your voice is heard in this election. This election is really only about one issue: whether you will allow the divide and conquer strategy to prevail, or whether you decide to stand together and move forward to get back what's been taken from you. In the past several weeks, many of your coworkers have been sharing their stories and videos and expressing why they're choosing to stand together. Today we have another great video for you, and you won't want to miss the story this worker has to share. Most of you know that the reason for this election is that a small group of COs wants to break away from the union in hopes that someday they'll be recognized by the state as law enforcement officers. Something similar happened in Missouri several years ago, and we have an employee, Travis Case, from the Missouri Department of Corrections with us in this video today. To help us prepare for our election, Travis will share some of his firsthand experiences of going through their election and talk about what their conditions are like today.
Well, my name's Travis Case. I work for the Missouri Department of Corrections. I'm a storekeeper too at Northeast Correctional Center in Bowling Green, Missouri. To you guys up in Wisconsin that are thinking about forming an association, I've got one thing to say: don't do it. We did that back in Missouri in 2002 or 2003. At the time, we were 47th or 48th in the nation in how we ranked in pay. Today, 10 or 11 years later, we're dead last. We're 50th in the nation in pay. The association lowered their dues to $10 a month. The corrections officers here in Missouri basically get no representation. When they first formed the association, Matt Blunt was governor. Of course, he was a Republican, and he didn't like unions, so he made a deal with the Missouri Corrections Officers Association, and he gave them a pretty big increase if they would support his candidacy. So they got a 4 or 5% raise increase that year, and to date, they've received the same amount of raise that everybody else in corrections has got. And we're still 50th in the nation in pay. If you think that an association is the answer to your problems, you're dead wrong. You know, my dad always told me, ask somebody that's been there before so you don't make the same mistake. And I'm just being honest. If you want to form your association and try it that way, go ahead. But I don't think you'll like the result, because they thought they could do a lot better with $10 dues. You know, the old saying is, you get what you pay for. And I'm being as honest as I can. I don't care whether you do or whether you don't. I'm in Missouri. I'm just telling you how it worked for us. And if you want to make yourself worse off than you are today, then go ahead and form your association and decertify the union. That's not what I would recommend you do. Well, at the time, we had just negotiated a contract. It had everything. Missouri had never had collective bargaining before for state employees. It had never had fair share. It had never had regular raise increases. We negotiated all of that into the contract. A week or two after the contract was finalized, we got decertified. We lost all of it. And they formed this association. It was called the Missouri Corrections Officers Association. And to date, they're still around. But they don't have collective bargaining. They don't have fair share. They don't have regular raise increases. You know, so it's been 10, 11 years now, and they don't have anything. You know, as far as the people that got to stay in the union with AFSCME, we do have collective bargaining rights. You know, we do have representation. We do have a place that we can call and get help if we need it. We still have all the rights that we had before, and the corrections officers really aren't represented by anybody. You have 2 or 3 people up in Jefferson City that are the leaders of the Missouri Corrections Officers Association, and guess where the money's going? It's going straight to them. I'm sure they spend a little bit of it on grievances and different things like that, maybe lobbyists, but it hadn't gotten them where they want to go. I just think it's a bad choice. We've been there. So now this association comes along, and we're going to do this. You know, we're gonna do this. We're gonna make sure that our officers are certified, and they'll be more like law enforcement, and we'll get regular raises, and it just doesn't work like that. If that's what they're telling these people up in Wisconsin, you know, they're dead wrong. That's not going to happen. You've got a Republican governor up there. Now, I don't know how the legislature is, but I think they have a majority of Republicans up there in Wisconsin too. Do you really think that an association is going to give them all these rights? Do you think the legislators and the governor is going to go for that? Of course they're not going to go for that. It doesn't work that way. You know, they may tell them people that you know, if you support us and you start an association and you get rid of the union, you know, we'll do things for you. No, they won't. No, they won't. What our custody people didn't realize was that that's a tremendous amount of work that you're trying to undertake. First of all, you have to organize thousands of corrections officers, and you have to form an organization. You have to structure an organization. You have to have reps all across the state to represent these people, and if you don't, you're not doing it effectively. And that's what's happened here in Missouri. You know, the whole association office is in Jefferson City. So if you want to file a grievance and you want to go through the Missouri State Corrections Officers Association, you're going to have to contact them up there. They're not going to come see you. You're going to be talking to them on the telephone. They may help you process a grievance, but that's about as far as they're going to go. They're not coming down to represent you in your facility. And with $10 a month dues, they can't. They can't afford to. It's just a huge undertaking that takes a tremendous amount of resources, and it's really not feasible to do it and do it right. Things do have to change, and each person, each employee, not just a union member or an association member, they have to take an active role in making a change. I mean, you can't pay an association or a union $30 a month and, you know, automatically that's going to flick a switch and they're going to do everything for you. That's not what they're about. I mean, there's always power in numbers, and if you want to make a change, you have to be willing to help make that change yourself, and it's hard work, and there's a lot of it involved, but there's no quick fix. There's no quick fix like an association, or, you know, if you're in it for the long haul, if you're going to make a career out of corrections and being a corrections officer, you've got to be willing to make that change and get in there and get your hands dirty yourself. And you've got to talk to your buddies, and they've got to do the same thing. You know, if I'm a warden sitting up there in an institution and there's a problem in my institution, and I have one person that comes to me and says, "Hey, I don't like this." Well, you know, I really don't care. Now, if I've got 10, I care a little bit more. If I've got 20, then I'm starting to look at it pretty serious. But when everybody comes at me, I'm making that change. And that's just the way it works. There's power in numbers. That's the way it always works. You know, what's funny is they say we're all a team, and to me that's honestly saying no, we're not a team. You know, we're our own little group, and that's the way we want it, and you know that's the way it's going to be. But I found, you know, as long as I've been working for corrections, you need everybody. You know, you need your non-custody, you need your custody, you need your clerical, you need everybody if you're going to run a successful institution, and that's just the way it is. I mean, there's no one group that's better than another, or more important than another. I mean, it takes all of them for everything to function properly. That's just the way it is. You know, it sounds great. We're going to stick together and we're our own little group. Yeah, you can get off work and go to the bar together and, you know, hang out together, but if that's what you want, that's fine, but it's not going to make your institution any better or any stronger. In fact, it's going to weaken it, because you're going to have a lot of resentment in there. And listen to this, you're not going to get a bigger raise than the rest of them do, so, you know, get that out of your head right now. We've been through it. Back, and I don't think you're going to be happy with what you get if you decertify the union. Again, I don't have a dog in this fight, so, but I have been there before. So if you think you're going to better yourself, CO1s, you're not. And I really hope that you listen to me, because I'm a long-time corrections employee and I've seen a lot of things. And when they decertified AFSCME in Missouri, that was absolutely the worst thing that ever happened to corrections employees. And I'm just being honest. If you want to form your association and try it that way, go ahead. But I don't think you'll like the result.